Hey, welcome to Snideful.
I'm Tucker.
I'm Todd.
Willkommen to Snideful.
That's not going to be our thing.
Oh, man.
But that has a lot of place potentially in our episode tonight.
Yeah, it will, especially if we get out of, carried away with the German stuff.
That's interesting because where did that specifically is from? What was the place? It was the sperm bank.
Yeah.
It was the sperm bank, and so when we come to it, we can figure out how they're related somehow.
Oh my goodness. Related to the mine people?
Yeah, maybe the guy that works at the sperm bank, if he's a recurring character that we end up seeing in some way, like he lives in our town, maybe the race that he is of is mine people. He's a mine person.
The mine folk.
Mine folk. Hey, oh, that's interesting. I don't know why you just put an idea for a whole concept into mine, but like a witch hunt, but like it's witchcraft, it's Minecraft, and they're on a mine hunt.
Oh, interesting.
But let's try to parse and sort through the important parts of our episode tonight, which are the news and Paperboy and kind of continuing the main storyline.
Yes, I think it's a return to our previous newsroom that's all, shot up. It's still tore up. Probably no fresh bullet holes, maybe a bit of like old police tape. It's been a couple of days.
Right.
They've been too busy with all the news to actually shoot at each other.
I need reminders of things. You said it's still shot up but not changed too much. What was it? Why was it shot up before?
They were shooting at each other before. The newsroom was a total war zone.
Already.
They were playing tragedy bingo and shooting at each other.
Right, yeah.
So the place was littered with bullet holes and scorch marks and dead news anchors.
I like the idea that there is police tape though. Like somebody's been there to investigate.
Yeah, there's police tape. Probably some of the holes have like fresh putty over them. The same anchors who were living at the end of last episode are probably still alive now. They've been too busy with actual real news to shoot at each other because the city's, in a state of flux and chaos right now.
Right.
Not that Tucker and Todd are aware, but things are going wild, and that's what the news will be about. Is cleanup efforts are still underway. Some of the monsters have been, corralled and euthanized.
Okay. How much time? Yeah, so like a week or a couple of weeks have passed?
Yeah, let's say it's been a week, maybe two.
So cleanup efforts are still underway, but they're like 85% done or something?
Yeah, there's still a bunch of monsters on the loose, but a number of them have been found, cornered, and euthanized. And they've all been like loaded up into the same dumpster or the same pit by a bulldozer.
Is the pit in the vicinity of the facility, or is it a separate place?
It's probably a separate place.
Okay.
But if you recall, the monster swarm took Anderson Coopest with them. He's the centerpiece of what will eventually manifest as Paperboy.
Right.
Because he was delivering papers at the time of his capture. But he will be amongst the group of he's still missing, but he's in the assorted random pile of what they presume are dead monsters.
Okay, so this episode 2 of season 2 starts with the news.
Yes, it starts with the news. It's going to just be detailing that while there are still some monsters unaccounted for, a large number of them have been, rounded up and exterminated, and they're being disposed of at a secure location. And it'll show a couple of shots of, that exact thing happening. And so they'll be like, so, don't be afraid, public. Things are under control.
I'm just making sure because this is creating a pattern. If we do this, are we gonna start every episode with the news of this season?
I was thinking that would be a fun pattern to have.
Yeah. Okay. If we're doing,
but
I think if
only
we're
for
do
one season.
Yeah. I agree.
But since we started the very first one that way, and I think since we're involving the general level of health of the entire city in this, then I think a quick news update, intro and outro for each is actually kind of appropriate, and we can make it real funny.
Yeah. I am just trying to remember. Do you remember? I feel like we have an episode or maybe 3 with Play-Doh that start with the news. I don't
We
know if that's
might.
important. I mean, that stuff can all be figured out as a different thing down the road. Whatever. I'm letting it distract me.
But if
Okay.
we are going to do the news every time, either we need to create additional newscasters, a couple of regulars who won't be killed.
Oh, I mean, there's always the possibility that we open with the news twice, and then in episode 3 we start with the news, and then Tucker and Todd immediately, like somebody who is like genre aware or trope aware or whatever, interrupts and says, "Listen, you guys gotta." This is the like makes a fourth wall break of this is the crossing the Rubicon. This is the point of no return. Are we opening every episode with the news?
Yeah. I like that.
And then we don't have to open up with the news anymore.
Yeah, if we keep doing this, then we're dedicated. Are we all in? Is this us?
No.
Is this what we do? You're right. This is the third time I had to click.
That's good. I like that.
Especially because at the end of yesterday, the end of last week's episode, the boys had actually decided the news was stupid and it was time for a return to print media, but that was mostly supposed to be just like a reference to the upcoming Paperboy.
And I think that the next episode might be anti-imperialism.
Yep.
So that could work if we're like, are we doing the news? And we agree, no, we're not. So we change the channel and it's a commercial for the fun farm. Hey, that looks cool.
Oh, yeah. Obviously, that's what will be in the news before we change the channel.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what's in the news, and then we change the channel, and then that's what's in the commercial, but the energy and the presentation is different, so we're suddenly okay with it.
I like this now, yeah.
Yeah,
this is good.
The news is like some kind of breaking scandal, some kind of negative viewpoint, and then the commercial, it's all hype and fun, and we're like, we like this much better. We don't like bad news.
Somebody in a podcast I was listening to said, Nicole Byer said that she won't use Spotify. People always tell her to use Spotify. She uses Apple Podcasts. Everybody says, why don't you use Spotify? It's better. Everything works better. And she says there's no light option. Apple Podcasts is white and bright and makes me happy. And Spotify is black and sad. And I won't have that in my life. And it's like, wow. What a way to live.
What kind of disgusting savage uses light mode on anything?
I don't know.
Does staring at an incandescent light bulb all day make you happy?
It is actually, disgusting.
Like why do you abuse your eyes? Why do you hate yourself? Who hurt you?
It's a very bizarre take on life.
Yeah, but dark mode is life affirming.
If there is no better example then of just how genuinely we are all different as human beings.
Yeah, and how different some human beings shouldn't be.
I guess
opposition to dark mode.
Do people who have a tendency toward light mode have more of like a moth brain then? Are they more basic and reptilian?
Oh, they're more stimulated by light.
Whereas people who prefer dark mode.
Yeah, people who prefer dark mode aren't quite so easily amused by jingling keys.
Well, and they're also more adapted to work parasitically with technology.
Mm.
You can use technology the longer that you can live with it, tolerate it. I have this theory that a lot of like neurodivergent things are like humans trying to evolve.
I'm actually pretty sure at least some of them are cases of like divergent evolution.
Yeah.
Just like bizarre adaptations that are just not quite there yet, but they're coming along.
Yeah, they're like 1/64th of the way there.
Yeah.
Well, it's like
it's not very generous.
That's not generous. But I mean, it's a long process. We haven't had the technology that long, and I was about to say it's like a deep learning AI, but real life is a better metaphor for what deep learning AI is.
Yeah, but it is definitely like a deep learning AI in that it really
takes a long time.
Really stumbling, but it'll get there.
Well, have you watched one of those time lapses of like a car learning how to park or whatever? It literally takes like 97,000 iterations to get it close.
Yeah, all flesh is responsible.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Like all kinds of AIs are terrifying, and if you give them the wrong stimulus, the wrong information, they start drawing the wrong conclusions because they don't have any like intuition or lateral thinking.
So we feed it Reddit.
Yeah, if you feed it Reddit, you will get a hate machine. It will think that up is down and right is wrong.
On
It's
this episode of Black Mirror.
yeah, it's only as smart as the information you give it. And if you give it Reddit, it's whew.
Shudder.
Yes.
All right.
Speaking of Shudder, the news is on.
The news is on.
But
And it's
I don't
talking
think
about-
I don't think the boys are watching it. But it is on in the background.
Oh yeah, how in the last episode they were watching it, right?
They were watching it very excitedly, and then they were pulled away from it to partake in a game of D&D. And then at the end of the episode, they weren't quite so into the news. Something about it upset them or bothered them, so they're like, you know what? Let's go back to print media. So it's on in the background. They're not actually watching it. It's noise, and somebody's going to turn it off around when by the time the news outstays its welcome.
Oh, is Anderson because I'm thinking that this is actually a really convenient way to just go from the news to anybody else who's watching it. So maybe it's not on in the background. Maybe Anderson Coopest is watching the news and having a bit of like a going through the process of grief or whatever as he becomes the next iteration of himself.
Is he already starting to transform? Some of the bodies, some of the material from the dump site has gone missing.
Yeah, because we didn't say where he went. He just got scurried off with the monsters.
Yeah, he got taken with them, and if most of them are being hauled to a dump site, he's probably amongst the bodies.
I was imagining him in like a sewer, like he's already got a lair. If it's been a week, right?
Yes, he'll have a lair for sure. He's going to be reanimated. The dead monsters are going to sort of pool together.
Oh, do we have the news as a voiceover describing the cleanup effort as we show a montage of his process of coming conscious, like waking up in a dump heap and then like finding a lair and then building his whatever.
Interesting. I kind of like that better than the usual segue that we've been doing, where it immediately backs off from the TV to just show the news playing in the studio.
Yeah.
It might be better if the news is discussing the current topic, and then eventually the camera it's got like a little corner module that shows, a picture of the dump site and people in hazmat suits, and then the camera zooms in and in and in and in and in until it's at the dump site. And then, of course, the guys in hazmat suits leave for the day, and then there's just this pile of monster goo just kind of sitting there, and then it zooms in further, and there's Anderson Coop's head sticking out, and his eyes shoot open. And maybe he's got spooky eyes now.
Are you saying, I think we're describing still sort of like two different things. Are you saying, so how does that, what is the first frame in that process?
The first frame in which part of it?
So like you're saying the news montage ends on his eyes opening?
Not necessarily ends there, but that's a moment for a beat. His eyes open, and then now we're no longer in the news. There's no more voiceover. Now it's just showing the perspective of Anderson Coopest and his now sort of gestalt body escaping from this pile.
I was thinking of including the escape and the finding the lair all under the news process, and then it can cut to him, like do the audio effect where the voiceover is directly the like front channel, and then as the montage ends, it's him watching the end of the newsreel, and it cuts to like the tinny sound in the background video, and then that's when he looks up in disgust because they make some mention of a missing anchor or something like that, or maybe they don't make a mention of missing anchor, and that's what he's angry about.
Anderson Coopest is still missing.
Okay. Does he still know his name and all these types of things? I guess we haven't even discussed that.
I'm gonna assume that there's some semblance of his identity left in there, but it's buried, and he's just kind of all of these things at once now.
Oh, did they describe him as like brand new paperboy Anderson Coopest because he was fired? He's disgraced and whatnot.
Yeah,
so
he's a
like
disgraced anchor, so he's just a paperboy. He doesn't like that.
Rookie paperboy Anderson Coopest.
Oh, rookie. That's What a slap in the face.
Fledgling. Oh, there you go. Fledgling paperboy.
But if we want to do have the news voiceover continue even after as the hazmat guys leave, and then the bodies take the opportunity to reanimate now that they're no longer being watched and then escape. That's the opportunity for the voiceover to be contradicted by the events we see on the screen. Like the voiceover, says that, oh, the monsters are being disposed of securely and safely, everything is under control, and then we see that they're just getting back up and leaving.
That serves like multiple duty on a whole bunch of things. That,
Yeah.
what's the word? Continues. I don't know. Resumes. Carries on. Carries on the jab we were making about the news being unscrupulous and lying. They are just telling untruths.
And generally being, unprofessional and dumbass. They're just not doing their job well.
Oh, we can't even cut to, like, they say a local business owner even says that something, and then it cuts to feet on the street, like talking head interview, and the guy says the exact opposite of the thing that Anchor said he said. They show it on the news.
Yeah, they say that, like, monsters are all gone and businesses resuming as usual, and then yes, there's a business owner whose shop has literally just been ransacked by like a 6-legged alligator thing. It's still in there. He's like, yeah, it's still here. And they're like, so you're saying everything is fine, and our local constabulary has done an excellent job.
He's in the store with it. He's like pressed against the window screaming, "It's still in here, let me out." They've got the microphone held up to the window.
Yeah. And then I suppose that's time for him to get eaten.
Yeah.
We're all out of bagels and now it's eating me.
The camera goes back to the Anchor's face. That is me, Megan Stallion. It's Megan the Stallion live from Main Street. I don't know.
The heart of our local businesses will never be extinguished by these kinds of things.
You heard it here first, folks.
And that's an opportunity for somebody to get shattered through that window. And it's just screaming and flying, and then the monster goes after him, just in the background of that frame as she's signing off.
Oh, I like that. That actually the whole scene is ended by the monster coming through and eating everyone. The camera gets destroyed. It cuts back to the newsroom. Yes, that's encouraging stuff from Anchor Megan the Stallion.
Deceased.
Deceased.
Death is cheap to them, so they don't even care. They just have a little checklist. They mark her off. That's probably somebody's bingo.
The news these days, all they do is parrot something. That's X-parrot. I'm shoehorning
it. Okay, and yes, and that's even better actually, because then it's since it goes to the street and then back into the newsroom, that's an opportunity for us to actually still do the back off into the studio bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so do we back off into the studio or we back off into Coopest's lair?
Interesting.
Because that's what I was kind of imagining, is him watching the news and then being pissed off about what he's hearing is a nice rejoinder with him, and not even, it's more than a subtle hint.
I do like that. We want to be kind of subtle about what exactly is happening to him. Is he doing like his hand is slowly becoming paper kind of thing? Marty! I don't know if he's turning into paper, but he is turning into something. Yeah, I don't know. I guess, yeah. Are we eliminating the idea that he's made of paper, since he is a paper delivery boy? That's why he's a paper boy. We got away with that before because all of our characters were made of paper. But I don't know if we'll be able to withstand a final boss of the season made out of paper when he's supposed to be actually made out of a bunch of different monsters. Although if he is made out of paper, that because he was basically a shape changer. Right. And during the Halloween's bit, he actually came to visit us in costume. I think we'd have been slightly more alarmed if he was perfectly 2D and we weren't. I got distracted by a screen. Okay. Is he still a shapeshifter
Is he glitching with the glitching effect that we were setting up in season 1 as outside related?
Yes, I think so. He should be pretty glitchy.
So he's doing that. Does he have control over his shapeshifting? I can't remember.
Not at first, I assume. But he's not finished transforming. So he probably still looks very much like Anderson Coopest, but just like with some goop on him. His suit has seen better days.
Okay.
But I do like the idea of the screen backing off to show him in his lair for a brief moment, probably from behind as he's watching a TV that somehow, for some reason, is hooked up in the sewer.
Is it in a sewer? I was going to say, do we have good ideas for what the lair is?
I don't know. I think sewer is a great place for a lair, but I always like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Do you think some place other than a sewer would be best?
I'm trying to think of subverting it in some way.
He's in a fucking penthouse.
Oh, that's funny. He just went to his mom's house because it is his mom that is like a rich woman, right?
She's famous.
Oh, right. She's a Vanderbilt. Yeah, she's like part of old money.
Yeah, she is an heiress.
Oh, but that's Anderson Cooper. Is Anderson Coopest the son of an heiress? I can't remember. Did we say that he was the son of Queen Bey? I can't remember.
I don't think we said that. I don't remember
Okay.
if we decided what his origin was.
I don't know if we did at all. But that would be kind of funny if he was just posted up. He's got the support of it's like in Gilmore Girls. Anytime somebody was hard done by, they just went and stayed at their like a rich grandparents' guest house.
He probably would need a guest house because he's not quite himself.
Oh, does he go? He goes and stays at Roman Polanski's house. He's hanging out with all that crew.
Well, he's definitely not hanging out with anybody.
Oh, right, he's alone.
He's in solitude as he mutates horrifically.
Then maybe it is a sewer. I was trying to think of some sort of wordplay that somebody misunderstood what a sewer was. Can't think of anything. So yeah, placeholder. It's a sewer.
Sewer, an abandoned building, an
Oh.
alley somewhere.
That would actually, it would be cool if it was something sort of satirical and had something to do with news, something that was defunct and run down, and nobody uses these anymore because nobody gives a shit about the news kind of statement.
Like where?
I don't know.
Is the inside of a newspaper bin?
A newspaper bin or just a newspaper shop? I don't know. There's no such thing. A news shop is a convenience store and everybody goes there.
Yeah, there's like now I can't remember what they'd be called. It's just like a little on the street shop.
Like a kiosk?
Yes, a kiosk. That's not exactly a place for a monster to lair.
No.
I'm starting to think that sewers were invented for this.
I guess it is. Maybe that's the joke. That's the joke that goes in. I always, whenever I can't come up with a good joke, I try to make a joke about how there's no good joke here. And the joke here is that, well, we spent a long time deliberating about how to come up with like a humorous subversion of the traditional villainous lair trope, and there really is none. So we ended up at the sewer.
I think that's an opportunity in a later episode to do a bit of a montage where the Anderson Coopest monster goes looking for a nice lair, and he goes through all of these places and decides they're not doing it for him.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, sewer it is. He's not happy about it either. But yes, the camera perspective can back out of the news and reveal an Anderson Coopest from a rear profile as he's standing there or sitting there and watching it. And he's got stuff going on. Maybe he shakes. Maybe a couple of creepy, weird noises. Something that sounds wet that suggests that something is going on with him, but you can't quite see what. And then it needs to shift away from that because we don't want to reveal too much of what's going on with him too fast.
Yeah, now that is very interesting. We shift away from that scene.
Yeah, we don't want to linger in his lair too long. Because it's only episode 2, and he's supposed to take several episodes to fully be himself.
Oh, is the last lines of the news something related to how Tucker and Todd are linked to the facility, like the breakout? The news is announcing that somehow it's related to Tucker and Todd, and then that's when Anderson Coopest shuts off the television and is like cursing, "Oh, Tucker and Todd," And then you hear echoing Tucker, Todd. And that's when we pan away to us being called by Jay or whatever.
Oh, you wanted to show that. So it reveal. I know it would be like, and here are some still images taken from a nearby security camera during the breakout, and it shows like us. It,
Yeah.
it and since we were in the news very recently, they know who we are.
Right.
But yes, it's like this just in. We've got brand new footage of the event in which all these monsters broke out in the first place. Look at these.
Questions continue to arise as police have linked the breakout to local podcasters Tucker and Todd.
I think they call us local hooligans now.
Local hooligans, yeah.
I mean, we just caused a triple homicide.
To social pariahs, Tucker and Todd.
Yeah.
And that's when, the click. Tucker and Todd.
But yeah, I actually think that the news doesn't have to name us. I think he can shut it off just before they say who we are.
Okay.
And he can and that's when because he knows who we are. He was part of the newscast that would have reported on us during the triple homicide.
Oh, and his line is curse that Tucker and Todd.
I was actually thinking that he would start saying that, and then it would immediately segue to Jay calling us.
Oh, like he gets the half a T out and then it switches to the frame?
Yes. That way we don't have to have Tucker and Todd said and over and over and over again within this scene. Just needs to be stated once. So it goes from the news to Coopest and then right to Jay calling us in the studio. And they're all kind of finishing each other's sentences.
Sandwiches.
Yes.
That's hard to get the time. I think I actually nailed the timing on that.
That was good.
It's hard to tell over a microphone.
But that's an excellent way to segue right back into the studio.
By the way, that is a joke I enjoy a lot. When somebody pauses to think about what they're saying and you insert each other's sandwiches or each other's sentences into what they're saying.
Each other's sandwiches is better. Because when people because people always do the finish each other's and then they kind of leave it open and then you say sandwiches. They're never ready for that.
Never.
Nobody expects to have their sandwich finished.
Okay, so we are now in the studio then?
Yes. Now, were we watching the news or were we obeying the rule we had set for ourselves last time with the only print media? Maybe we're reading the newspapers. Oh, that's the best opportunity for a great big headline that says "Still missing Anderson Coopest."
Oh, I was going to say somebody's flipping through the newspaper and says, when did we start getting the newspaper delivered?
Who's flipping through it?
I mean, I feel like when did we start getting the newspaper delivered is a Todd sort of line. I noticed something is amiss, but I haven't quite caught on.
I can't remember which one of Tucker or Todd decided that it was time to just subscribe to a newspaper.
Oh, is that a decision that we made?
Yes, they decided that it was time to get a newspaper subscription at the end of the news last episode.
Oh, I totally forgot that.
Seems like a Todd thing to do, is to actually do the subscribing. Tucker's not responsible enough. You give him a mission to subscribe to something, and next thing you know, you're getting weird magazines.
So since I'm the one that subscribed, then I'm going to say that I'm the one that's reading?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, before I get into that, so we're in the studio. So Straight Woman was saying our names. That's
yes.
how we come back from. What is she
calls us
have
away
to
from
say?
whatever our attention is.
Is she trying to get us?
She's probably going to try to get us to go to work. After
I guess
all,
that's what we're trying to do.
We have a sketch to write.
Are we trying to segue into the sketch now? That's what this is.
Kind of, yeah.
Boys, quit reading that newspaper. That's kind of interesting. We're all
quit reading.
Or are we don't know how to read a newspaper. We've got it all. We've been playing pretend. We've got the newspaper where we've turned it into pirate hats and swords, and we're playing pretend with the newspaper. And she's trying to get us to stop playing pretend and go to work. That's not what a newspaper is for.
Oh, I like that though, because then Tucker's well into it, and then we're both like, this newspaper subscription was the best idea we've ever had.
Yeah, I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah, then we're super into it. And yeah, she's going to do what she usually does and terminate our fun and inform us that we're doing it wrong and that we really ought to get to work.
Oh, and that's a good one. That's a good actually. This is a great opportunity for us for there to be something. If we have a hat on our head made of newspaper, then the camera can zoom in when she's like, "That's not how you use a newspaper," and we're like, "Well, how do you use a newspaper?" And she says something something something, and we point to one of the news stories that's on the hat on our head, and we say headline, and then whatever the joke is. But that is my idea for a gag there.
Headline?
Yeah, the news story on our head is the headline.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out later.
Is it going to be topical? Is it going to say something about Anderson Coopest?
No, I thought it was more something to do with either using a newspaper properly, like proving her wrong, or just trolling her. Like the point of the headline gag is to be a joke so bad that it like gives her the pan face. But then we get to work. She's like, now, snap, clap, clap, clap.
Now.
I'm
not asking you to like it. I'm telling you to do it.
I can't remember what it was that we were doing. I just have this memory of being in the library in the 10th grade at high school and making a whole bunch of racket, laughing like hyena cackling, and the Russian librarian coming with her arms at full 90-degree full extension and like alligator clapping, screaming, "Get out of here now!"
Why is it always the Russians?
Oh, those Russians.
Why do they hate fun?
I don't know. I wonder if it's biological.
Yeah, in Soviet Russia, fun hates you.
Okay, let's get into this classroom, shall we?
Oh, yes, we get dragged away from our newspaper sword fight and fun. We're having a great time playing with the news.
Oh, sorry. Is one of the news stories a prompt that gives us an idea for what our story is going to be?
Ah, that is an interesting place to get our premise. I was going to write down in the notes, where do the boys get the premise, or is there a particular reason why they choose that one?
If we're like, okay, we're going, and then we sit down, it's like we're sitting down in our writing nook, all right, time to work, and then it does a 5 hours later, and we're like laying on the floor, kicking the sky kind of thing, like haven't had an idea.
Haven't had an idea.
And that's when we see one of the headlines on the newspaper. Where did that premise come from? The canary. I was even reading it.
I'm not sure, but
it was
some of that stuff was so funny.
It was the podcast, This Paranormal Life. They were talking about how the idea of in Ireland they didn't have canaries, or they were so poor. Yeah, I think it was they didn't have canaries. So they would dress up a local like village boy as a canary and send him down the mine. So
like, what if that would somehow help?
So like, what if the headline that we read on the newspaper is that like a grave of an unmarked grave of mine canary boys, of mine children has been found in Ireland. They're calling for reparations.
Are they in Ireland?
Who?
The mine people? They're in an Appalachian coal mine.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying that we need a newspaper story that's going to inspire us to write a sketch about Appalachian coal mine people.
Oh, right.
So we read a story about Irish canary boys in the news, and we're like, that's tragic. Let's write a story about these cannery in the coal mine.
Wow, that's tragic. That's horrible. Where?
Because I mean, we
disassemble our hats, and we're just we start playing with those as we can't think of anything, and then we're just like, hang on a minute, it's my birthday.
Oh yeah,
we look at the date, and then we're like, what's that got to do with anything? I guess nothing.
Oh yeah, when we do the 5 hours later, are we sitting around bored, or are we playing again? We've turned the paper into like paper airplanes. And maybe earlier in the episode when Straight Woman told us to stop playing around, she does one of those, it's all fun and games until someone loses an eye. And we're like, yeah, that never happens. And then we're playing with paper airplanes, and one of the airplanes hits us in the eyeball.
Yes.
and then that the person who gets hit in the eyeball pulls the paper out of their eyeball and stretches it out and goes, "Hey, I've got an idea." Or no, they're stretching out, and the other person, seeing it, the paper
Oh,
stretched out before them,
I've got
points
it.
out, "What's that?"
I've got it. The paper is stuck, and it's gonna take the other fella to pull it out.
That's great.
He's got
Like it.
it's stuck in Tucker's eye, and Todd's gonna have to put a foot on his chest and pull.
I love that.
And
Like
he yanked yeah, just like it's really in there.
like Pooh got stuck in Rabbit's rabbit hole or whatever.
Yeah. And he yanks it out and then kind of goes for a tumble with it, but it comes unraveled as it does, and he's like, "Hey, wait a minute, I've got an idea." Tucker's like, I can't hear you over the sound of my eyeball agony."
No, check out this story. Did you hear about all
What
these kids in Ireland?
what kids in Ireland? They call those leprechauns.
Don't be insensitive.
All right. And so that inspires us to write a story about these kids in a coal mine.
Yeah, if we literally act out kind of the conversation that we had in this scene, we go. It says they were sending kids down. That Ireland didn't have canaries, so they would send kids down, and we're like, man, that's tragic. Can you imagine if they had like a cannery in a coal mine? What if it was like a whole society? Like we have the conversation, and then it goes into the classroom.
Yeah, and there's a classroom of kids learning about their own little coal mine city's history.
And what do we say about the festival of mine or of coal?
Coal. Every single one of their holidays is coal.
Your timing on they're in a cannery, what's in the cans, coal, really gut laughs me.
Which one?
Well, we were talking about it's a cannery, and you were describing in the original episode. You say, yeah, they're canning something. What's in the cans? Coal. Your timing and delivery on it murders me.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going on. But yeah, we've got. Have we decided that they're going to be silly Germans in this Appalachian like coal mining town that's just like a subterranean civilization?
I think so. I think I'm fairly sold completely on the idea that they are called the MEIN mine people.
Yep, the mine folk.
Mine people. You got to put them both in order. Yeah,
All right,
I'm
so
sold on
the
that.
blinds are down in the classroom, but at some point somebody needs to open them, and it reveals that they're actually just in
It's
the
just a
interior
wall.
of a coal mine. Like out in the distance, you see like industrial machinery, like a great big conveyor belt hauling chunks of coal around, and like there are men with pickaxes and stuff,
Yeah,
and like
subterranean society.
yeah, everything is kind of coal dust flecked.
I like that. Are we going? Are we doing a bit of a genre thing with it then?
Yeah, the
Is
descent.
it the Descent? What's the oh, like the horror film?
Yeah,
I was gonna
except the
say
people are the monsters.
like a western or something like that.
I love westerns.
If we play the Mine People sort of like a western, I'm not sure. Unless, do we have another western coming up?
I don't think so.
No.
But we've got these kids. They're sitting down in the classroom. It is history. It is the history of the mine people and their town. Does their little mine town have a name, or is it just mine town?
I mean, I think for now, I think that is what it is.
Mine town.
Mine Town. Go down Mine Street.
All right, and what they're reviewing is the history of birds in the coal mine. In the beginning, there were no birds at all, and this is our opportunity to show a little montage of miners, like a whole group of mine people. Yeah, they're a whole group of them going down into the mine, and they all die.
All their
And they do,
wives watching tearfully, like as nobody comes out.
yeah, and then we repeat that scene a couple of times because they're like, oh, well, something went wrong, but don't know what, so we'll just send another group of miners down there, and they all die.
For the
Eventually,
first 200 years, they thought it was the gods.
yeah, it takes several generations before they decide that as a 100% fatality rate with 0% coal returns was bad. So they figure out that it's because of some bad air down there, and they need a warning system to get them out in time.
I
They
like
do,
all
they're
in their German accents. Oh,
all the children.
No, the ancestors realizing that they need to
Oh,
be monitoring for fumes.
yeah, they yes. Maybe the air is poisonous.
Oh,
all the other,
It's
all of them
volcanic
simultaneously slap their foreheads.
no.
Mein Gott! And then they decide maybe a small animal, maybe a bird. A bird is light, easy to carry. But their first choice is not canaries. They decide that parrots talk. Maybe they'll be the most useful. They can tell everybody when something's wrong.
Do we go straight to birds, or do we wear out the joke and go through the multitude of animals that they tried before they arrived there?
I think it would be pretty funny if we went through a multitude of animals. We went with a honey badger first, and it killed
Yeah, I
everybody.
was gonna say a cougar. I was gonna say a cougar. The guy
we
carrying it is just slicing him to ribbons.
we started with a bear. Bears like caves.
They don't like mines. Yeah.
Bears like caves, but it moved in and wouldn't let anyone else in.
It like mines. It did not like people.
Yeah, it liked the cave. It hated us. Suddenly, it wouldn't let us in. We decided in a couple of generations that this wouldn't do either. Then we decided
We
something
tried to
smaller.
make it work for the kids.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the genesis of the dancing bear. Repurpose the sniffing cave bear to just be a circus attraction.
Oh yeah, of course.
But then we tried something smaller. A lion. There are so many survey teams that just turn up dead from this. It's amazing that there are any mind people left. They must have been very prolific.
You know, we are Catholic, so we fuck like rabbits. I can't
Is
do the
that
voice.
is that
I'm
the
just coming
Catholic
out with it.
thing?
That is a Catholic thing.
Right, go forth and procreate.
Yeah.
For
The best Catholic.
since I'm not religious or aware of religious rules, I always thought that was the Protestants, but I now realize and remember that they're actually the prudes.
Yeah. In my experience, all the best Catholic families who could afford to get away with it had like 9 or 10 kids.
Oh yeah, go forth and multiply.
And so they did. They had
Make
God's
make
permission.
fun of the Catholic priest for having sex with his wife.
They got that betrothal. That's all you need. That's the permit.
Gotta have your permit. All right, so they're making new generations and they're working their way down to smaller and smaller and more manageable animals. Eventually, they need something that's light that they can keep in a little cage so it won't escape. They tried to go down with just mice held in their hands, and that didn't work out. They got away.
Yeah, they just escaped from the cages. Oh, you're just,
Well,
just holding one.
yeah, they were. He was just holding it in his hand, and it was like, "I'm tired of being in your hand," and left. I heard that in Ryan George's voice. I'm tired of being in your hand. I'm leaving.
And so they did.
Yeah, and so they did, and so now they need something that'll stay in a cage and talk. They decide they want something that'll talk
Yeah, something that makes noise.
because they tried it with something that was less communicative. It kind of worked, except that the mind people didn't pick up on it. So they
There's
decided
people
once
folk.
and for all, they need parrots.
We needed an
Birds.
animal with better communication skills.
Birds that talk. Birds that speak, yeah. So they picked up some parrots, only they didn't realize that parrots don't come knowing how to talk. Like out of the box, parrots don't just know things. They get their parrots out of the box.
Vocabulary not included.
Yeah, exactly. That's why these parrots need training.
Oh, it says right on the box, vocabulary not included.
But we need to back it up a little bit because we're actually getting into the in the minds part. We've left the classroom and several really good jokes in the classroom behind.
What are the good jokes?
Because the their teacher is telling them the history of the use of canaries in the coal mine.
Right.
And that's the option. That's the opportunity for one kid to say, "My uncle works in a cannery."
Oh, right.
Yeah, we've got one Kentucky kid in a pile of Germans.
Well, goddammit, I forgot that this was an Appalachian town. Should they all be Billies?
I think there's a couple of them, but I'm having a lot of fun with the Germans. But maybe they're German in the flashback of like previous generations.
Yeah, I guess
And
we
then-
could
and
work
then
that
in-
into the lore.
And then their modern incarnation, they're all Appalachian drawls.
Yeah, there could be a mix of them.
Yeah, okay, a couple of like Dutch people still there.
Nobody asked your opinion, Half-Blood.
Tired of listening to Mr. Haney. Okay, Mr. Oh, shit. That means Francis should be the uncle who works in the cannery.
Oh, he got a new job. He left his fine.
He lives down here now. He's divorced.
That's funny.
My uncle works in a cannery. And there he is. It's showing the mechanism behind canning all this coal. It's just being put into cans. And then you see just like all kinds of other consumer goods made of coal. Then it snaps back to the classroom, and that same kid opens up a can of cola.
Cola.
Yeah, and we couldn't decide whether it was a solid brick that's in a can or if it was just like a thick polluted sludge that he then drinks. Either way, it's just two different ways to the same story where he's got like all black teeth and lips, and then we get an interior view in which his stomach acid and everything else inside of him is just kind of receding away from this coal. Nothing in his body wants anything to do with it.
Oh, I figured we could do both, where he opens one up and it's like a frothy sludge, and he goes, "Oh, who shook this one?" And he's like, "That's all right, I got a backup." And that one is just the rock.
It gets liquidy if you shake it. It becomes more drinkable, and he'd prefer the solid one. He has to he has to chew it. That's why his teeth are all black. He crunches it. It's it's got that nasty coal dust crunch. And he swallows it, and then yes, it's a solid brick going down his thin little cartoon throat.
Right. Like a snake swallowing an egg, probably, I assume.
Yeah, and then it falls down with like that anchor.
Thunk, yeah. the slide whistle, thunk.
Oh, yeah. Slide whistle, and then the thunk at the bottom of his belly, and then in his interior, everything flees away from it except for a small team of men with shovels who start chipping pieces off and throwing them into like a little internal furnace.
That's so silly.
Even the locals are powered by coal.
Yeah, that's how it works.
They're specially adapted. Divergent evolution.
Oh, and then it goes into the school inside his stomach, and there's a little boy saying, "My uncle works in a coal kind," or whatever he says. Oh my god!
Yeah, it continues to go in and in and in, and then one of the kids
faster and faster.
Yeah, it goes in, and then we're inside of the little school inside of this kid that looks very suspiciously identical to the school that he's sitting in. And one of the kids asks, "But why do we use canaries?" And then we transition into the history lesson about the Mine people and their generational just throwing away their lives into this cave system.
While the other civilization watches from the tree line, shaking their heads like these losers.
Yeah, other settlers are shaking their heads, but they didn't understand.
There's like a crystalline cityscape like starts appearing over the generations on the other side of the hill.
Oh yeah, these people are still living in just like a shoddy little village that's continually sending people into the mines. Nothing changes except every generation they send in a new group to die, and then in the background you see a sprawling metropolis grow.
Somewhere in the distant future, we can do like a deep callback inside joke kind of thing, where we have a bit that takes place in that crystalline city, and like somebody's like threatening with, "What? Do you want to become one of the mine people?" Oh no!
They tell their children stories about the mine people.
The mine people
come and get you?
Yeah, I like that.
If you don't pass your classes, we're gonna send you to go live with the mine people. Yeah, children scream. But I do think that during the little time lapse of the sprawling metropolis growing up, at some point we actually see them leave Earth. They get into a spaceship and fly off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so they actually build the city of they build the city of the future just to demonstrate how far past the mine people they have evolved and developed. They're settlers from the exact same place, living 3 blocks away, functionally, but they've got these different set of values. Because it turns out, normative cultural ethical relativism is shit. And so they develop a super society and eventually leave Earth.
We quickly saw that fossil fuel was a I forgot the words I was going to say. Evolutionary red herring. We quickly realized that fossil fuels were an evolutionary red herring.
It's an evolutionary sink.
Yeah.
It's an evolutionary and cultural sink. Yeah, later interviews with this spacefaring, enlightened, idealistic society.
Well, they're the your people.
Oh,
Mine people and your people.
That's funny. All these people.
Okay.
So now we already touched on the generation, the very slow AI learning process.
Right.
They figure out the poison gas. They start with bears. They eventually wind up with parrots because they can talk, and these guys are stupid. They're like, what do you mean they can't talk right away? They have to be taught? We need someone to train them.
And so they go to the only parrot trainer that exists.
Within the small distance that they're willing to travel in order to get something done.
Oh, did they begrudgingly have to go to the advanced people's town or something like that? That's where the guy lives.
I kind of like that idea. They have to. Now it's an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
How so?
Because that's exactly what happens in one of his shitty movies. These backwoods people eventually have to go. They have to go and discover society.
That's so
and then realize that they've been living in.
They are coming out of the village.
Yeah, they've been in like 1812 for like the last 10 generations.
I like this then because I think that it's better to lean into that lore a little bit.
Yes, and the Mind people have been totally unaware of this civilization. That there's legends and myths and rumors about other peoples elsewhere.
Then this allows us to do the your people of your thing, because I think that's a season 1 joke that we never did in the remaster, did we?
Excuse me. No, we did not.
Where did I write that down? Why did I say something about folding it in? I can't even remember.
I think so. But it is an option for us to fold them in.
Yeah.
That's now officially what their spanning metropolis is called. Their shining silver city of the future. It's your.
It is, yeah, the people of yore, and then that's where we can do that joke about, like, excuse me, we're the people, we're not your people, we're people of yore.
Yeah, we are the people of yore.
Okay, that's perfect.
That's the origin of the term up yours.
Okay, I like that.
Yes,
I like that even because then we can introduce that in the classroom. One of the kids curses each other. Hey, up yours, Tommy. And the teacher, Danny, you do not say that. Why don't we say that? Well.
Oh, yeah, that's a cutaway. Back to the classroom and then back into story time.
Something like that.
Just to kind of further tie them together, knit them up.
Yeah.
Now, the trainer. Is it actually a guy, or do the your people just hand over a copy of Aladdin?
Out of curiosity, when we did this, was Gilbert Gottfried dead?
I think so.
Is that why we did it? Was because I just want to look him up. Gilbert Reed. I feel like that was very recent, wasn't it? April 2022. No, so we did that way. So he was still alive when we wrote this.
Means there was still a hope of convincing him to do it.
Well, I think part of it was I was gonna, because he's big on Cameo, or he was big on Cameo, and I thought it would be very easy to get him to read lines for like $20 or whatever, but not anymore. Although there's a guy on YouTube who has created a Gilbert Gottfried deepfake, or whatever the voice version is. He's created an AI voice library of Gilbert Gottfried based on his Cameo. So we still could get him to read lines.
Oh, that's fantastic. And if that doesn't work, I'm sure there's somebody who can do an impression out there.
Oh, well, of course, yeah. I'm going to be practicing in front of my mirror because I think I could do a good one after a week or so.
I cannot wait to hear your best Gottfried.
Do I want to do one right off the cuff? I'm trying to think of a line that I would do it based off of.
So this guy is nailing his daughter, and he comes in.
Oh God, not. Not the aristocrats.
The aristocrats.
Not the aristocrats. He's got arms like a longshoreman.
He's got arms like a longshoreman.
That's not the voice, but it's close.
Yeah, I don't. It's gonna need a little bit of work.
A little bit of work.
It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be enough to be a reference.
Yeah.
Whew.
I like my reference is the aristocrat.
Yeah, just about anything he reads, any of the lines he does, because he does a lot of lines
Oh yeah.
of reading. I mean,
I think he belongs to that generation of comics who would have done a lot of lines, though.
yeah, I think so too. That's why his eyes are always shut. I haven't opened my eyes since. That was during the roast of Joan Rivers.
I saw a lot of shit in the 80s. Oh, is that something he actually said?
Yes, and he's it's a line from a story he tells at the roast of Joan Rivers, and he's like, "And I haven't been able to open my eyes since."
He's a funny guy.
He was a treasure and a gem. That kind of thing that you would find in a coal mine and toss aside because it's not coal.
True. Oh, I do like the idea that the coal mine people. Oh,
They find mithril.
I was gonna say they discovered diamonds, and that's what the advanced the your is made out of the diamonds that they discard of because they think that they're useless.
Oh, interesting. They use the discarded diamonds as a construction material.
Yeah, they're like, I can't use this. It's not coal. You ruined my coal. Keep the fire away from it.
Yeah, they don't even burn it.
They just
What a
can
waste
it.
of
Yeah.
coal.
They don't know how to create reactions with it. They just package it.
They eat it. They build stuff out of it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Just don't put pressure on it.
These mine people, they find diamonds. They find mithril. That's where our little dwarves come in.
Right.
Yes, that's what they do. They dig a little too deep, the mine people, and they open up a vein of mithril or some other kind of mystical metal. And they find a bunch of dwarves already picking at it. So it's
So
like
they live in the floorboards.
yeah, they behave as if you've just opened the bathroom door on them. They're like, "Do you mind?" Sorry. And they back right off.
Did we name them? I feel like we should give them a name. Just outsidians for now.
Our goblin dwarf gnome people?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they have a name.
We should come up with a thing for that. Because I am. When I first heard that Peter Dinklage didn't want magical creatures to be referred to by names that are associated with real people anymore, I scoffed and I said, well, that's stupid. You can't control that. But now I kind of really like the idea of coming up with a new name for those things that everybody has just recycled the names over and over and over and over forever.
I'm happy to come up with a name for them. Maybe somebody calls them dwarves or something, and they're like, "Excuse me," in a very similar repeat to the your people.
Oh, I do like that. Look, I found a dwarf.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Very Shakespearean. Excuse me.
I beg your pardon.
Yeah, I like that. Two fistfuls of ham. And then oh gosh. Yeah, where were we?
They found some dwarves as
Yes,
though they were
the dwarves.
cockroaches.
I'm trying to think about what to name them. Although it's not super important, and I don't want to get hung up on that when we've got plot threads to go through.
Hung up on it now. That's an important road mapping decision, I feel like.
So the parrot trainer.
Yeah.
It's Godbert Gilfried.
It is Godbert Gilfried. Is it Godbird Gilfried?
Oh, that's better.
Or is it just Gilbird God something? Gilbert Godfried?
Gilbert Godfried.
Gilbert got milk? or is it Gottfried? Like the free bird. Gottfried. Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah, Gilbert Gottfried.
Okay, I'm good with that. Why did we not come up with that? Why was that so hard?
I don't know. I guess we're fucking idiots.
I guess we are fucking idiots. Okay.
I guess we are. I guess we belong in this mine. We definitely don't belong in
We're
your.
not the Yor.
No, we're right where we belong. Okay,
Okay.
so they a group of these mine people brave the journey into the village of Yor, or what was in legend a village, but is actually a spanning metropolis of chrome and diamonds.
Oh yeah, have they been doing that thing? They tell stories about how it's this awful place. They don't actually know. They have no clue that it's a.
Well, yeah, they their last contact with the Yor people was in the age just as they traveled there and started to settle. As
Is
soon
there
as they
any
discovered
way
the mine, they stopped paying any attention to their neighbors, and they became legend.
that this has sort of turned them into Plato's cave people?
Yeah,
I'm trying to figure out if we ever. I know that we have a Plato, and I know that we did a cave allegory, but I can't remember what the fuck it was. I
there
can't.
are
That's
lots of
homework.
opportunities for Plato to point at many caves.
Yeah, true.
I told you this comes up everywhere. Let's go on a little time travel adventure, and I'll show you a whole bunch of different cave people.
Oh yeah, okay. That's fine. Okay, we return to these people later. Then I'm not trying to work in something new now. Let's focus on the parrot.
Yes, they brave the journey to this village of steel and chrome, Yor, and they enter, and it's it's a standard fish out of water story.
Oh yeah,
You know, that old chestnut.
they
They're in a
can't.
totally unfamiliar place.
All of the crosswalk signs are they don't understand.
Oh yeah, they almost get hit by a car that they don't know what a car is.
Yeah, all
And
that stuff.
we're gonna keep it totally unclear as to what year this is actually occurring in.
Sure.
Since it's a work of fiction that the boys are making, this could actually be happening in the far future, but the mine people are still in the wrong century.
People are in jet drawn carriages.
Yeah.
That
And
kind of
like
stuff.
yeah, except they can't figure out how to get coal to pull the carriage, so these goofs.
I'm trying to think of other fish out of water things, like trying to order food from somewhere. Maybe.
Well, they've never ordered food before.
Oh yeah, that's true. They've only ever had their own sourced coal.
They've got cola.
Oh, that is
Ah,
an opportunity to do when after they have met somebody from this place, like their tour guide, whoever that ends up being, going like, "Can I get a cola?" And then they hand them an actual cola, and they're like, "What is this?" And they're like, "You said you wanted a cola, sir." And he's like, "This is." He throws it in the trash or whatever. It's like that sort of thing, or
I
they
can't
love
drink
actual
this.
cola.
I can't drink this.
And then he watches somebody drink an actual like liquid, and he's like, "What are you doing?"
I can't. You can't. You don't even chew on it. That's disgusting. It
Ew, it's
just
all
has to
wet.
be.
I can't drink this. Yeah,
Yeah, it just has to be unfamiliar enough to be discomforting.
sure.
But yeah, they don't understand crosswalks. They don't understand electricity. None of this makes any sense. Even though they obviously have conveyor belts. Everything is man operated.
Okay, but
Everything is mine operated.
this is minecart. You've been accused of Minecraft.
Oh, I like that.
Okay, so
Yes, they're in
they get
your
to Gilbert.
they eventually they ask for directions enough, they get sent to Gilbert.
I think this is the place.
Now, I think that maybe Gilbert is just like super super prejudiced against the mine people, so he trains all their parrots to be horrible.
I was going to ask one small thing. What sort of place were you envisioning him residing or being located when we find him?
I have no idea because I had never previously thought that he would be inside of like a super futuristic city.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess I wasn't thinking about that either. Because the thing that immediately jumps to mind is at Disneyland and I think Disney World, they have a place called like the Tiki something, the Tiki something, Jungle Tiki Hut or something like that. And it is a musical performance puppet show hosted by Iago
Oh my gosh.
with the Gilbert Gottfried voice, and then he basically sings about how actually he sings the "You Don't Have a Friend Like Me" song, but it's about how he's great and all the other birds like don't know how to sing and they all suck. So is he in
Sounds
like a little
very
tiki hut?
Iago.
He's at a tiki hut teaching all the birds to sing or
Well,
talk, I guess.
whatever he's in, it needs to be like a futuristic city in the sky kind of version of it.
Yeah, I guess
So I
so.
guess he can be in a tiki hut made of chrome.
Cyber Tiki. Is that a
Yeah,
thing?
we're gonna invent it.
Deviant art,
Yeah,
Cyber Tiki.
somebody's already created it using those weird AI image generators.
Oh, that's probably. Man, I wish I didn't. I used up my whole trial already.
Yeah.
Wow. The fifth thing that comes up is X videos.
Okay, well, we're gonna have to do some research later.
That is funny. I didn't even search DeviantArt Cyber Tiki. I just searched Cyber Tiki, and the first thing that came up was
Yeah,
DeviantArt.
because of cyber.
Yeah, I'm not getting what I want out of this. Okay, back to
Okay,
the
so
matter at
he's
hand.
in. I'm gonna assume he's in like an actual cool penthouse. Our mind people have to go through their very first elevator experience that isn't operated by ropes and pulleys, because of course they're used to the being in a wooden bucket and basically being raised and lowered with just like ropes.
Oh, is that where they have their first? Sorry, your people. It was people of yours, like with the elevator boy or the doorman or whatever.
Oh yeah, he's very regal.
Yeah. I'm
The
sorry.
the doorman, yeah, the elevator attendant.
Yeah.
He's very regal and aristocratic. And yes, he would be exactly the type to be kind of offended by what is functionally just a short form of the people of yore. I say, by Jove.
By Jove. Who is
Yeah,
Jove?
I'm pretty sure that's one of the names of God.
Oh,
Yeah, my God, good God, blah, 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 without blaspheming
yeah, I
against
guess.
Christian God.
Okay. So they go up to this penthouse.
Yes, they go up to the penthouse and they wind up at like an aviary. This guy's a bird nut. He hates people and he hates the mine people more than any other people that he hates.
Does he? Sorry,
Uh,
what is the premise for our parrot? I got a little bit lost. I just need to read some of this. Only trainer is Gilbert Gottfried. Is the point of doing him to do the X parrot thing?
no, all the parrots are super assholes. Most of the ex parrot stuff was tangent.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, a lot of it was going off on a tangent that I couldn't figure out how to make fit. But there's still an opportunity for there to be an ex parrot in the modern, in the because this is a flashback story.
Right, yeah.
There's still an opportunity because there aren't any parrots yet to be ex parrots, but there
Now
could be
I'm
an
lost
ex
in the
parrot.
weeds.
Yeah,
Which character? So if this is a flashback, which character went to your?
a group of the mine people. We haven't
Okay, we didn't
determined.
identify them.
No, in fact, since they're all totally expendable, there's no point naming any of them. Some of them are
Yeah.
probably going to die just accidentally on this trip.
Right. This is part of a story that's being told, so they don't matter anyways.
Yes. This is
Okay.
just how they came to use canaries, and the a major step on the road to using canaries was using parrots. And this is
Right.
why they
Okay.
don't use parrots.
This is why
Because
we don't use parrots.
Gilbert
Okay.
Gilbert Gottfried made them into assholes that actually increased the rate of death in the mines.
Are we going to is the end of this entire like act or portion of the show, are we going to cut away from the parrot story by Tucker and Todd realizing that this has gotten too convoluted?
Yeah, pretty much. They're like, I don't know what we're writing anymore.
Yeah, what was the purpose of this?
What's the plot? What are we doing? Where are we going? And how do we end this? And they're like, I have no idea. Abandoned sketch? Yeah, I think abandoned sketch. Light the beacon.
Oh, right, we were going to do the abandoned sketch beacon. And we can use our newspaper as kindling.
Oh yeah. It's suspiciously flammable.
Oh, that's interesting. Because I was starting to think of other ways, as like as a scene is playing out, Tucker's voice cuts through whatever other narrative or voiceover was on. Like, hey, look what I made, and then the characters like in the scene like look around in confusion. Todd, look what I made, and he's like made something out of the newspaper.
Oh, I like that one. That's when the fourth wall breaks, but from the other side.
Yeah, yeah. Which does the sixth wall or whatever, the first wall, the 0th wall.
Yeah, that's when the narrators break the wall. It's weird. It's an inverse fourth wall break.
Yeah.
But we can. The parrots get turned into super assholes. They all talk like Iago, and all they do is roast the miners just all the time. thus actually causing the fatality rate in their mine to increase. Attrition, just like rampant suicide from, depression because they're all just tired of being made fun of by these parrots. Workplace accidents increased by 300%. Nobody cares anymore. So this can't go on, and there's probably an extended scene of them eating a whole bunch of fried chicken wings that, they obviously came from parrots.
Like colorful, multicolored fried wings.
Yeah. And I've got a question here about how does that result in canaries taking over the parrot's gig? And I think that's a question that one of the children asks the teacher, and the teacher can't come up with an answer because we can't come up with an answer, and that's when we back out.
Oh, the thing that I imagined just right now as you were asking with the question mark was, as everybody is enjoying their fried parrot lunch, some canaries, some very nice, mild-mannered looking canaries wander into town and very politely ask, "So, what's going on here?" And as everybody shoves their fried parrots behind their backs.
Not eating bird, are you?
That's not bird you're eating, is it?
I suppose then that's when we cut away. Is that how canaries take over? Is that how canaries fit into this? Like, how does that make sense? And then Tucker, because of course that was Tucker's idea. Well, I don't know. I thought you'd make sense of it.
Yeah. I'm just the idea guy.
And that's when they kind of wring their hands about it, and they're like, you know what? I don't think this is going anywhere. I think this is just getting messier and messier. Abandoned sketch.
Abandoned sketch. Do we pull the abandoned sketch lever?
Yeah, I like that. Pull the lever.
We pull the lever.
We pull
a
the
hammer
lever.
drops from the sky to break the glass.
I was thinking that it would cause a button to descend, like on a little control rod arm.
Yeah.
So we pull the lever, a button comes down, so they push the button, and then that causes a wall to flip over, and there's an in case of abandoned sketch, break glass, and inside of it is Mjolnir that we can't lift.
What did we break the glass with?
We can't find anything to break the glass with. The hammer we need to break the glass with is inside the glass. Who designed this?
You wrap a jacket around your hand. You still can't break the glass.
Who designed this? Smash.
We spent all of the budget. We spent all the R&D on the button.
This is exactly the kind of thing we would design too. We just abandoned a sketch for being too convoluted, and our abandoned sketch process is itself too convoluted. So we decide that we need to light the abandoned sketch beacon manually. We attempt to use the paper, but it won't light.
Oh. Ooh.
The paper doesn't burn. That's why it's going to be the only thing that's left later.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's what makes it the clue.
Oh, I totally forgot about delivered by Coopest. The clues goes all the way into the fucking Halloween special.
Yeah.
The mommy.
Yeah. Oh my god. The newspaper was our very first clue.
Yeah.
Because we light the beacon, it starts burning out of control. We've got a convoluted system of fire suppression that's all been sabotaged and doesn't work. I believe we decided that we had sprinklers to start with. One of our fire suppression systems was supposed to be a flame retardant gas, and it just, nothing comes out. It just...
Sorry, I devised gags based on sabotage fire suppression. So we light the signal fire, and then the signal fire quickly becomes a problem that we have to put out.
Yes, it definitely becomes a problem.
Sorry, what were we signaling?
We're lighting the beacon that is part of the abandoned sketch sequence. I don't know if we ever explained how that contributes to it.
As we're on the tower holding the torch out to light the bonfire, we're looking at each other going, sorry, so what is this signaling again? I don't know, just light it.
What does this do? Why'd you have me blow that horn? And they call it a mine.
Okay, so we light it, and then we have to put it out.
We try to put it out.
There's a separate thing that we have to break the glass on. Can we break the glass on that thing? How come this one breaks?
This isn't emergency glass.
Oh, yeah.
The emergency glass can only be broken with the emergency hammer.
That's
It
funny.
makes perfect sense.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
I just noticed that Craig and Gigi says that they started recording 45 minutes ago, but they also say they started recording at 8:08 p.m.
They say they recorded 45 minutes ago.
Yes, I think their counter just stops counting up at 45.
Maybe.
Because it's been 45 minutes for at least 45 minutes.
Yeah. Are they? They're still in here.
They're still in here. They're still recording.
I think we're good.
Their recording started at 8:08. It's
Yeah.
ongoing. It just says that 8:08 was 45 minutes ago. That means I think their counter is broken.
Maybe.
Okay, so the studio's on fire.
Okay, so the counter is still going. It's at 135.
Oh, now it says 2 hours ago. One of them does. The other says 45.
Whatever.
So the studio's
on fire.
going on fire. The alarm goes off. We have an alarm. It's probably what was the last alarm joke we did? It's the same alarm.
An alarm joke?
Ooh, moo.
Oh, right. What was that for, though?
I forget what that alarm was for, but we have the same alarm for everything, and the fire system. The sprinklers try to come on, but they just like spit a little bit of just kind of coal dust. Because reality hates us. It's had enough.
Well, also
sabotage the system.
Every time the inspector comes, we should shut the lights off and pretend we're not home.
Yeah. None of this. We don't have a permit for any of this. None of this is zoned. None of this is licensed. We've never had it inspected. Coal dust comes out of the sprinklers and makes the fire bigger.
That's fine. It's just one of those, what do they call it, a flashback or whatever?
Yeah. This is when we start running around in circles in panic.
Because we're on the roof, right?
We're on the roof. We're in the studio.
Oh.
If we were on the roof, we'd be like, hey, fresh air. But no, we're inside the studio. The place is starting to fill with smoke. The alarm is going off. The fire department, we can hear them coming, but we're trying to get the gas system to come on. It's not working either. It just kind of farts.
What are we working towards with this?
We are going to be leaving as the fire department gets here to put out the fire. We're going to enter and find lots of our stuff burnt, and the only thing that's still intact is the newspaper. That was how we ended it. Paperboy has made an attempt on our lives.
Paperboy has?
We decided that he's the one who sabotaged our fire suppression systems.
Oh.
And he left the newspaper.
Okay. Because I was starting to get into what are we doing with this fire?
He sabotaged our safety systems.
Yeah.
And then just basically waited for us to do what we do.
Right. He just assumed that at some point we would set a fire.
Yeah, and he didn't have to wait long, that's for damn sure.
Maybe straight woman can come to that conclusion when she's being sleuthy at some point down the road of it was obviously somebody who knew that that you had an abandoned sketch signal fire plan in the first place.
Yeah, in the middle of a building. A bonfire.
Somebody who knew you had an abandoned sketch signal fire and would abandon a sketch.
Like we abandon every sketch. Yeah, it doesn't take a detective, but it sure wouldn't occur to us.
Why did you guys even build an abandoned sketch signal fire if you abandon every sketch? We're trying to celebrate our failures. What kind of question is that?
What kind of question is that? It's cool. It's
not in a movie. Talking about? Yeah.
Why do you hate fun? Yeah, I don't understand the question.
Okay, so
yes, we're being hauled out now. The place is full of smoke. Everybody is crawling around on the ground, except of course for Tucker, who can just walk around at his normal height because the smoke is just above his headline. They're being hauled out by the fire department, who come in and start spraying everything down. All of our notes for this sketch are destroyed.
We fist bump each other behind our backs. Nice.
That doesn't get more abandoned than that. I think we abandoned several sketches there. Nice.
Now that's how you would abandon a sketch.
Yeah, an entire filing cabinet full of half-written sketches has been destroyed. Nice. Yeah, okay.
the police, or not police, but the fire marshal or whatever is giving us like a tour of like, looks like this entire room of scripts was destroyed. Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. Jay rolls
Jay
her
isn't.
eyes.
Yeah, Jay is not happy with that. She is not impressed. And he's like, the only thing in this room that wasn't, isn't turned into blackened pitch is this newspaper, which
And we're like, what the
somehow,
fuck?
like, we had disassembled it and folded it into hats and swords and paper airplanes and stuff. But when we return, it's all back in one piece as a newspaper.
Yeah, mystical.
Yeah, it's a newspaper,
Spooky.
and the date on the newspaper is the date of the breakout. Yeah, but we don't get that because we're stupid.
It says the date of the breakout 2020 or whatever.
Just the day hell was set loose. Maybe the date on the newspaper is even like circled in red pen twice.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Because Anderson Coopest knows he's dealing with a couple of idiots.
Oh, in the scene where we see him in his lair, do we see him circling the date on a newspaper?
I think that's a good idea. I think that way the newspaper itself is referenced earlier.
Yeah.
And that's probably a really good switch away scene, because there he is in his lair circling it, and as the newscaster is talking, and then Anderson starts talking, and then Jay starts talking and pulls us out of that scene, the newspaper is the part that stays. It's continuous throughout both scenes, so that's the newspaper that we are looking at right at the beginning of our scene at the beginning.
Yeah, definitely. It's perfect.
And then we tear it apart. We do all that stuff with it. We play with it,
And it
then
reassembles.
and it's reassembled, and it's not burnt. It's just sitting right on a blackened table. And even we are smart enough to realize that an unburnt paper in the middle of an inferno is weird, so we keep it. I wonder if touching it or noticing it causes a glitchy effect.
Oh, definitely.
All right.
If there's going to be one, it has to be one there, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's reassembled itself. That's pretty weird on an outsidey, just kind of by itself.
Yeah.
So yeah, the glitchy outsidey effect. What else would the fire marshal say to us? I've never actually been in a fire.
I haven't been in a fire either.
Nobody's been murdered. Nobody's hurt. It's only our personal property that's been damaged, and this place is still vaguely livable. Maybe we take the week and we go stay in a hotel while this place gets repaired.
Oh, or do they find something else that suggests it? Do they find some sort of not necessarily specifically an oily rag, but do they find some sort of oily rag which suggests that it was Tucker and Todd's fault that the fire? Well, I mean, I guess we started the fire.
Oh yeah, we definitely started the fire, but there could have been, like, for instance, there could have been signs of accelerants in the bonfire, in the beacon itself. Like somebody had set it up, sabotaged it so that it would definitely get out of control. Maybe it wasn't actually entirely our fault.
Is that what we're aiming at? We want the fire marshal to make some sort of observation that it does look like foul play?
Yeah, this was arson. There were signs of accelerants in the thing that the fire was definitely going to be built in.
I don't know. When you said this is arson, the first thing that popped into my head is it does a cutaway to the Buffalo family. They say, no, he's our son.
Oh, those guys again. My son? No, our son.
No, arson.
Jerry! Jerry claims to have started the fire.
Don't mind him.
Yeah, don't mind him. He's crazy. We don't use that word here. I'm sorry.
It's clearly arson, and they're like, well, yeah, we started the fire.
No, now we can't claim insurance. We are insured against self-arson.
Oh, is that how we do it? Then before we even hear from the fire marshal, we have the insurance guy telling us how much money we're about to take as he's like writing out a check, and then the fire guy comes over and says, this is clearly arson, and we're like, well, yeah, we started the fire. And the insurance guy is like, gulp, or whatever. He quickly rips up the check and walks away.
I actually think it would be funny if we had a unique policy that involved, all kinds of clauses for just accidental idiocy.
Oh, technically, if you started it yourself accidentally, then you still get a payout.
For Tucker and Todd, yes, they get all these kinds of exceptions. That's why they pay such a high premium.
Oh, and
They have special insurance policy.
And is that why we have extra money to go on a family vacation next episode?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get a payout, and we're like, woohoo! We got a payout, and we didn't have to finish a sketch or any of those other ones.
I'm trying to set it up as like a gag. Are we sitting there trying to tell straight woman about how like this is going to be great? We're going to get a payout, or maybe we don't even know. I don't know. The straight woman trying to tell us that there's no way they don't pay out. Insurance doesn't pay out if you start the fire yourself, and the guy comes over and announces how starting the fire ourselves is exactly what got us the payout.
Yeah, we have a special clause in our insurance. There's a very high likelihood that we will accidentally set ourselves or our building on fire.
Straight woman grabs the policy out of the guy's hand. She's like, let me see that. She's like, oh my god, you're actually right.
Oh my god.
You guys actually did something right.
We didn't get that a policy. Mom did.
Oh, that's fine. She's like, you guys actually did something right. You rip up the check and throw it in the air like confetti. You're like, yeah!
Oh, come on. We need that money. But yes, that it makes perfect sense that it was Mom who got us that insurance.
Oh, it's got her signature on it. It's just signed Mom?
Yeah.
Oh, is that when straight detective like perks up, her straight ears perk up, her straight ears, her detective ears perk up, and she's like, Mom. She sees the signature if it grabs her attention or whatever.
Oh, she's suspicious now of Mom.
Yeah, we've never discussed the idea of her being suspicious of Mom, but I like setting that up now, especially because she does have a relationship with Columbo.
Yes, and anybody who could somehow negotiate an insurance policy like that is deeply suspicious.
Yeah, definitely. I like that. This is good.
Yeah, so we can have an improbable insurance policy because it was negotiated for us, on our behalf by an eldritch god. So it makes perfect sense. It was like probably some Jedi mind tricks at play. Yeah, Mom set up our insurance. So yes, they get a payout. They're not disqualified because it was arson. It pays out double in case of accidental self-arson.
Oh, is the Mom signature in like a creepy font that's going to come back someday when she finally realizes the connection between the two?
Oh, I like some of those creepy fonts. I'll have to find one.
The one where it's like disappearing in ink stamps?
The Zalgo font.
Yeah, I think we both know the thing that we're talking about. It was popular on Facebook for a bit when Facebook was popular.
There's more stuff on it. Some of it was cut off.
Some of it was cut off?
Yeah, some of the Zalgo font was cut off, but I copied and pasted Mom in there.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, that. Yeah.
It's because it's a lot of vertical text.
Yeah. So that's a clue that she won't get now, but she will. It will come back later.
Maybe the signature is actually vaguely animated with some of these weird symbols just in it, like swirling and.
Oh yeah.
Looks
it's like the arrival text.
Yeah.
Living font.
Yeah. Creepy stuff.
Okay.
Yes, and so I suppose that's also deeply suspicious. Maybe Jay's detective eyes activate and she notices that our insurance guy's got lots of those symbols just like floating around in his eyes.
Well, that's interesting.
Either way, we walk away from this with a check and our entire workload for the next 2 weeks burnt.
Mega celebration. We have a vacation.
We don't have to do it now.
Yeah, and money.
We got paid to not do any of our stuff.
The American dream. Get paid to do nothing.
That is the best case scenario. We're counting this one as a win. Nobody realizes that there's actually a mutant predator currently after our very lives. And this was attempt number 1.
Does it shoot back? Oh, is this where we do the crystal ball thing? It shows Paperboy watching us. He can see us through the newspaper.
Yeah, I was thinking that the newspaper was somehow either bugged or he can see through it due to he's Paperboy.
Yeah, he's looking at the headline photo on his own piece of his own newspaper, and the image that he sees on the front is what the view from the magic paper roll.
Yeah, he can see what the newspaper sees.
Yeah, I like that. It's an eye of Kilrog.
Yeah, it's goddamn Saruman.
Yeah.
And that weird ball he was looking at that he likes so much.
Does he need to say anything, or he's just watching next time, Tucker and Todd?
He's watching because now we're probably going to be in a vulnerable position. But I think he's kind of busy still coming together.
Hmm.
If anything, he was testing our, like our security, our boundaries.
Right. Okay.
He managed to get the newspaper in. He managed to damage our studio so that we have to not be there for a while. So maybe that's going to be an opportunity for him to further sabotage it.
So does he make an allusion to having further steps on a plan, or it's just a shot of him watching and cackling?
I think a shot of him watching and cackling would be best. An alternative is he's got a whiteboard where he's like, kill Tucker and Todd. Step 1 complete. Step 2 in progress. Like, no, without detailing elements of his plan beforehand.
Yeah, without detailing the other steps.
I
Maybe
think
it's the
him
whiteboard.
just watching in satisfaction now that he's basically got us bugged.
Yeah.
Also, later Stan is going to try to read that newspaper at his little favorite couch.
Yep.
He's going to throw it away. He doesn't like it. This
Oh, he
newspaper is
senses something
weird.
off with it.
Yeah, he's a little outside creature. He would, there would be some pretty like heavy glitchy stuff as he picks it up. He's like, "Oh, I don't like that."
Yeah, there's something junky about that newspaper, you guys.
So that'll be our opportunity to get rid of it as soon as it becomes inconvenient. But for now, it's watching us.
Right. And so yeah, I think we fade to black, and that's credits on him cackling.
Yes, he's watching us through that thing, getting our check and being happy. Because that's what it'll be. It'll be that scene, and then it's just like kind of fades back, and then he's watching us in the same way that we're always doing with the TV. But instead of the TV, he's watching us through his newspaper, and then he just starts laughing, and he's pleased with himself, and then fades to black.
Do we have any after credit sequence? Again, hint of Paperboy, did he sabotage the fire suppression systems? Oh, while he's laughing somewhere on his on the table where he's looking at the newspaper which serves as his crystal ball, is there like a piece of
He's
the
got
suppression system?
I think maybe he's got like a bundle of wires or something.
Well, something that the fire marshal referred to. It would have been fine if you'd had your something, 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 and then he's got that.
Well, yeah, and there were accelerants. He's also got a jug of turpentine on the table with him. Because
he's got
that's
all
one
the
of the
stuff.
things that they can easily detect in an arson case is turpentine and remnants of stuff like that. But yeah, if your suppression system was working properly, blah blah blah. So maybe he's got like a torn out bundle of cables, wires and stuff that would have been essential in those things working, and then he's got a little jug of turpentine just sitting on the table in the background while he's watching us through the newspaper.
Yeah, that's great.
So he deactivated our stuff, and he definitely put a lot of extra Bernie stuff in our fire so that our beacon turned into a scorching blaze.
There's all sorts of Bernie stuff in here. There's gas, there's fuel, there's a Bernie Sanders 2020 poster.
Oh, Bernie. I
Yeah.
wish.
Would have been pretty cool.
Would have been pretty cool.
I think
That's all,
it.
folks.
That's all, folks. Yeah, a bit of hope right at the end.
Yeah. Yes, we can.
Yeah, that was the closing. But yeah, is there
A post credit?
a post credit? I don't think so. Are there any references in there that we want to make? What's happening next week is the vacation.
Next week we're that's perfect, because that's when we get to see the commercial for anti-imperialism's Fun Farm or wherever it is. That's where we're going to go on vacation.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah, okay, that's good.
So maybe a post-credit scene is just us walking
Looking at
into a
Expedia.
hotel room. Well, we walk into a hotel room and we throw on the TV.
Oh yeah, because we've got nowhere to stay right now. The studio burned down.
Well, it burnt on the inside. The structure is still fine. It's probably considered unsafe to stay in right now while it's being repaired and stuff.
Right.
The building itself is salvageable.
But we're spending the night at the Travel Lodge.
Probably a couple of nights to a week. Yep, we were at a hotel. We all walk into a hotel room. Tucker, Todd, and probably Jay too.
I am not sharing a bed with either of you.
Yeah, I have to assume she has a home.
Oh
she
yeah,
just,
I never thought
she
of
just
that.
works for us. Does she live there?
I don't know.
I mean, she plays there. She uses our green room as a holodeck to play around in.
Yeah, she's there during the day.
She uses it like a leisure center as well as a place of employment.
Oh, well, maybe that's the post-credit sequence then, is us giving her doe eyes, trying to say, like bring us home with you, like trying to convince her to take us home with her for the night or whatever. And then the next episode starts with us causing havoc in her house, and she says, that's it. We all need a vacation.
Oh, I like that. That's perfect.
Yeah. You guys just got an influx of cash. We are going on vacation.
That's it. We need a vacation, and you guys are paying for it.
Yeah. I like that if it can be a running gag the whole time that we're complaining as she like pulls cash out of our what are they called, fanny packs.
Oh yeah, she reaches for Todd's. Todd picks up Tucker, so that she has to reach into Tucker's fanny pack instead.
That's funny.
Don't touch my fanny.
That is a funny one.
Okay, yes. Post credit scene of us going home with Jay. That won't last very long.
No. It was under duress.
Yeah.
And it was out of the kindness of her heart. It was very apprehensive on her part.
In protest.
Yeah.
You were here on sufferance.
I like it.
And yeah, we caused just mayhem.
I wonder what her house looks like.
Now we have to design it. Before we had an easy go with just like a hotel room because they're all the same.
Yeah.
Now you have to design a house. Well done.
That's okay. Giving
yourself a bunch of work. That's okay. You can just pick like a bland, generic floor plan from any like bungalow in The Sims.
I think. Yeah, I was gonna say. I think it might be actually extremely just like bland and generic and minimal, and very straight.
Yeah.
Like, well, I just need a place to sleep at night. I live at your studio.
Yeah, that's pretty much the case. This is just where she sleeps.
Yeah. Anyways, that was this episode.
Yeah, that's all, folks.
That's everything. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Todd, for hosting.
Thank you, Tucker, for co-hosting. And thank you to Craig and Gigi for reading this pre-recorded message. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you for listening to Snideful.
Hosted by Tucker and Todd.
Right.
I'm Gigi.
And I'm Craig.
If you'd like, you can send an email to snideful@gmail.com.
Or search Snideful on social media.
Which ones?
I don't know.
Great. Whose idea was that?
I don't know.
Classic. I'll just put a link in the description.
You can do that?
OMG.